Wait, sorry. Okay. I think I remember to turn the mic back on this time. Sorry you're at work. Oh gosh. Hope you don't have to work too late. On a Friday, no less. But yeah, I'll probably be back again sometime this weekend or Monday. We'll see. I've just been really busy. Just want to make sure everything's working. Right, looks like everything is working. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm gonna get started. So yeah, tonight I'm just gonna be, well, for anyone new who's tuning in or is just watching this stream at a later time, I'm back to working on this guy, and yeah, just gonna keep on keeping on. I finally decided what I want to do. I have this like vision of the kind of details I want to add onto the surface, and so I'm just gonna get to that. And I was kind of inspired actually by one of my mentors. She's a very experienced jewelry maker, and she works with wax all the time. And so she was showing me this technique where you basically just kind of like, you could kind of think of it as like just dripping wax onto something and building up the surface, which doesn't sound like too advanced, but you can really get some good details that way. So let me try it on this guy. Just gonna start with the hand. And I think what I want to do, yeah, okay. Actually, I might need a different tip to do this, because this tip, this wax working tip is, ooh, it's turning invisible because it's green. This tip is good, but it's not great for laying on detail, because if you dip it in wax, the wax just kind of like falls off of it. It kind of stays on. All right, let me try it a little. How's that? So you can see I'm just like dipping it, and that kind of created like a little thing going on there. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. Oh god, this is gonna take a while. What if... Hold on, I have a better idea. Instead of reaching over to my Relix constantly, I'm just gonna get me a little... I think I have one here. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. Ooh, that's very shiny. Hopefully that won't cause too much chaos. And I'm just gonna get me some wax, pour it in here. First I'll mix it up, make sure it's all uniform, so that when I grab a chunk, it'll be ready to go. And so the reason I'm putting this in a different container is so that I can just quickly dip my wax pen into this and get what I need instead of having to reach all the way over here. And also I want it kind of cool, because if it's too hot, it'll just drip off the pen. Yeah, that kind of works. Hopefully that doesn't look too... Here, I'll put it like here so it's not too... Or I'll move it like right here. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna like dip my pen into this. Just grab me some. Like that. Yeah, you know what? Fine, I'll put it here so you can see what I'm doing. Or kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I think this will work. Now I just gotta figure out the texture I'm going for. I mean the pattern I'm going for. So I think I'm gonna try like this is too hot. That's okay. That might work. Okay, let me start over because I don't like where that ended up. See how easy it is to just erase the detail. Okay, so what I want to do is create kind of like a zigzag pattern, but more like a rectangular zigzag, and just go across it. I don't want to go diamond shaped. Let's try diamond. I think this is too hot. Hey, good evening, Shelly. Thanks for joining in. I'm just testing the light. It's a little bright there. I have to like my streaming setup is, I think it's halfway decent. There are things I'd like to improve. So yeah, like when I look down for a while, it turns my whole face white. I don't like that. Let me see if I can fix that really quick. Oh, okay, there goes the whole stream. I'm sorry, this will only take a minute. I apologize for doing all that. You know what? This is not worth it. Alright, next time I'll figure that out. So you can see I'm still getting the hang of this software. In fact, let me just... It's better. Yeah, that's more natural. Oh, that looks a little crazy. I apologize if people find that like tryptophobic or something. I have this idea of like, I want to inset like gemstone spaces in each of the like arms as if like it's powered by like a gemstone, and then you have to like put the gem in its place. I don't know. I think that might look cool. Where did that tool go? Oh, you know, I will just use... Oh, here it is. I can find this tool. Oh. I don't know. I would check if there's any other places that like sell monster clay. Were you looking like at just the monster clay website? It's possible that maybe on Amazon or eBay or other like sculpture supply stores might still have some in stock. But I would check because maybe they say they're in stock, but really it's like back ordered from Monster Clay. Wow. If you can't get Monster Clay and you just want to like sculpt with something hard, you could always try Chavant Clay, Chabant, Chavant, and just get like a hard one, and that's pretty hard stuff. Like, it'll warm up, but it's still like hard, like almost not really like wax, but it might be better, honestly. So that you can kind of get used to the feeling of sculpting with like a really hard material that still kind of is more like clay. Because that's how I learned. I first started actually, not with wax. I totally forgot about this, but I first started with like Chavant hard clay. And that's like, to me at the time, that was like super duper hard. Like I'd never worked with such a hard material before. Yeah, I think Monster Clay would still be a good idea though. Yeah, if you can find it, I would check like who would have it. I don't know if like Dick Blick or maybe the Complete Sculptor. And complete spelled like Compleat, like Compleat. The Complete Sculptor is a really cool sculpture supply store here in New York City. I haven't been there in a while, but they have like everything. They even had CX5 when it was still in stock. So I'm trying this technique that I haven't done in a while. It's not very advanced. It's just something I kind of forgot about. But basically, you can build up detail with wax just by dripping wax onto the surface. But when I say dripping, not like just dripping like a droplet, because that'll just fall off. What you want to do is, you want to kind of get your wax pen tip. Just like get a glob of wax on it, like see it's not too much. And then you can just start drawing detail. Hold on, what kind of detail do I want here? Oh boy, okay. That. Okay. I like that. Not especially. It's not bad though. Darn, I think I want to do more of like a rectangular. This would be the one to do it on. Okay, let me try that again. Sometimes you gotta do something a couple times really know if you like it or not. And so far, I can see that I want more rectangular shapes, so I might end up changing this diamond thing into more of like a, we'll see, like a rectangular kind of deal. Well, let me draw it. I need a marker. See if this works. Yes. I'm not really sure. I'm getting some ideas of what I want. Let's see. I'll try that for a second. Yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I've been thinking about doing this whole time. Just couldn't figure it out for some reason. Okay. So what you can see I'm doing is I'm just building up on top of those like rectangular areas. I want to make it kind of like this flaky armored look. Like a bunch of little tiny burr plates. I don't know if that makes sense. Well, hopefully it makes sense. Oh, hey, Cartoon Squid. Thanks for joining in. I am doing like a dripping technique where I'm just building up little details by just globbing a little bit of wax that I have over here. Just getting my hot wax pen, getting some wax on it, and then just sort of, it's almost like you're stitching it into the surface. Like tattooing, I guess. And it just kind of stays there. And I'm gonna go back and like sharpen up all the edges and make it look kind of like this geometric, like, well, you can kind of see it like an armored plating look. I don't know. I want it to look more like a fur. We'll see how that goes. But again, the whole theme with this sculpt is to make everything look very geometric. Because for some reason, I don't really like stuff that looks too realistic. Like detail-wise, like, you know those like insane-looking creature sculpts that people do? Where it looks like really cool, like kaiju or weird, freakish monster, or even just like a regular, like, you know, creature. I like stuff that has kind of a more robotic, geometric look to it. And I think it's because of that weird contrast, like, with the natural world. Like, it doesn't look real, and I think... It sounds weird, but it's like, I know, like, this is not a real thing, so I kind of want to, like, when I see it, I'm, like, instantly understand, like, oh yeah, this is a sculpture that somebody created. Versus, like, oh, this is just, you know, like, not to, you know, put it down, but this is a, like, rendition of a real-world object or something. I don't know. I might be getting ahead of myself here. Anyway, I just like patterns because they make sense to me. I just find it too chaotic to look at something that's covered in all kinds of different types of details. But if they all have like some kind of theme to the detail, then I'm okay with it. Like they're supposed to be there for some reason. Not just like, oh, I wanted to try this crazy looking texture and then mix it with this other texture. When, you know, it's just too crazy to look at. I don't know if that made any sense. Anyway, okay. Let me try refining the detail a little bit so I can see what's under there. It's the best way to do this. Where'd my tool go? Add a tool for this. Went somewhere. The heck? Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Yeah. So sometimes if you kind of like push, you can kind of scratch out the excess wax, and you're left behind with this like kind of sharp looking line, which I'll go back and refine even more. Basically, I just want to kind of create that separation in between each of these little build-ups, so you can really see the... I want this to be like a more rectangular pattern. And then the other limbs are going to have different types of patterns. But they're all going to be very geometric, so that it stays within that theme. That this is a artificial object that has patterns, very geometric patterns that aren't usually found in a natural object. Objects have all kinds of cool patterns, but something that's more even like this is usually not that common. So I don't think so. I'm trying to think of an example. I guess anything like a shell, like a turtle shell or armadillo. Or a pangolin. If anyone knows what that kind of creature that is, those have pretty cool geometric patterns. Excuse me, I just needed some water. Sorry, I'm not much of a conversation starter. Like in real life, I'm also not super talkative. But I will talk to myself about anything and everything. I'll just sort of like say what I'm doing sometimes to myself. Sounds a little crazy. Who's this guy? See, I'm doing it again. I'm just like talking to myself. It was really nice weather out today. At least where I am. It was like 75, sunny, no clouds in sight. I like that weather where it's like not cold enough to need a jacket, but also not warm enough to kind of want a jacket. I feel like everybody can enjoy that kind of weather, right? It's like the perfect weather. But some people I know probably prefer really hot or really cold, or just something a little different on that scale. To me, I prefer cold weather over hot weather because I just don't do well in heat, which kind of is funny because I make wax and you need to heat up wax and it gets really hot when you're making wax. But yeah, I just overheat easily. I would rather be cold so I can at least bundle up. And it's nice to cozy up in cold weather. Hey, Mash Marco. Thanks for catching me live. I know I should probably try to stream at more reasonable hours, but I get home kind of late due to like work/school. And this week I really was trying to like stream at some time during the week, but I just couldn't get a chance till today. I was just so busy. But I'm working on that. Yeah, anyway, today or tonight, what I'm doing is I'm working on this sculpt and I'm adding some detail. You know, it doesn't look like much right now, it's kind of rough, but this is like the most progress I've made in like months with this sculpt, because I just didn't know how to approach it. I was like, but sometimes you just gotta try. Yeah. There's a lot more detail that I'm gonna have to be adding, so I'm not gonna like go too crazy refining these little bits, because I need to go and add them all before I go refining. Otherwise I might just like mess up all the refinement that I'm doing right now and having to redo it anyway. Or I just like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is not what I wanted, you know? So let me start refining the detail again. And what I'm doing is I'm just heating some wax on the tip of my wax pen and just dripping it. Let's see, how do I want to do this now? Let's start here. Oh, yes, I remember you. I'm sorry I don't remember your name. But yeah, that did happen. I am doing okay. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm glad to see that you made it through the pandemic. That was crazy. That was like 2-3 years ago. 2 years ago, I think. It was like 2020, wasn't it? But yeah, thanks again for reaching out all the way back then, letting me give you some advice, even though I'm still figuring things out on my own. We will have to catch up again sometime. Yeah, I'm trying to stream at more reasonable hours. But I'm still kind of new to this whole streaming thing, so I don't know like when's the best time to stream. it also kind of depends on my schedule. I would like to do one where like it's just the whole day, which would probably be on a weekend. Or like a holiday where it's like a Monday and everything is closed and everyone's off. Because I feel like it takes me a while to kind of get into the groove of sculpting. I need to warm up a bit. And by then it's already been like an hour or two and I'm like ready for bed. But you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just like creating this grid-like pattern. It's very rough right now. It's hard to see. And I promise you it will look very cleaned up. Maybe by the end of this stream. And tonight I'll probably be going until around midnight, as usual. And I thought it would just be good to unwind after a week by sculpting. Although I would like to sculpt every day. I would sculpt every day if I could get to. But I'm really trying not to lose sleep, because that's never good. I'm not the type of person who can just fuel up on Red Bull and Monster drinks and still be okay throughout the day. I never drink coffee. I drink some green tea, but I also don't really want to rely on caffeine boosts to keep me energized throughout the day. So yeah, good sleep is usually key to making good decisions in life. So what I'm currently working on is, if you've caught any of my last streams or seen them like after they were uploaded, it's the same sculpt. It's this kind of rocky sculpture, which is based off my original rocky sculpt. This guy, who you may remember, can stand on each of his limbs. But when I first made this guy, I wasn't really thinking, so he just came out like this kind of weird, chiseled, prehistoric looking fossilized gorilla dude with like boxing gloves. And I liked it a lot, but I kind of wish that it didn't just look like just a rock, like, you know? So I thought about it some more, and I decided I wanted to make it look more like intentional, like it was actually like some kind of thing sculpted out of rock. So I have this wax sculpt that I've embedded magnets into each of the joints, so that you can interchange the parts, and it'll still stand. This might be hard to see from this angle, but it's standing right now. So from your angle, it would actually look like that. And it looks pretty ridiculous, like the limbs are just going crazy. Thanks. This thing has been a really long work in progress. Like, honestly, I think I started working on this like around 1 or 2 years ago. So around the time that we talked. But I just wasn't like in a good headspace, and I was going through like creative blocks, and I didn't really know how to finish the sculpt. So I took like, honestly, there was like a whole year where I didn't sculpt anything, because I just didn't like, I had that fear that like I just wouldn't be able to do it again. But I realized that's just stupid. The only way to get through a block is to work through it, which sounds really cliche, I know. But taking a break is good sometimes, but when you take a break for too long, that's not a good thing. Which is why I'm trying to be more consistent by, like consistent with sculpting. So I decided to start streaming sculpting, because that would put me on a schedule, and then I wouldn't be able to give up, you know what I mean? But I still enjoy this a lot, even though this is not what I do for a living. I still love doing this, and it really helps me like refocus like what's important to me in life, which isn't just wax, of course, but other things I want to accomplish. because I think we get into this habit where we're always, and I'm sorry if I'm getting too preachy. I don't mean to be. These are just thoughts that are swirling around in my head constantly. So you guys are kind of like my therapy session. But yeah, I got into this habit of only doing things that I thought were gonna be good for me, either financially or like I felt like I could only allow myself to do things that had purpose. So I stopped doing like a lot of hobbies that I enjoyed. I only focused on work. And I stopped like valuing the importance of things that you just do just to enjoy life more, just to enrich. Right? Because like you could eat like a protein bar or protein milkshake that doesn't taste very good. And yeah, you're getting all the nutrients that you need, right? But there's no flavor. So I've decided to get back into sculpting and making toys to kind of reflavor my life. That's a terrible expression. But yeah, I think, in other words, like, don't take the things that you need to take seriously, like, actually take them seriously, but give yourself some time to, like, remember what it is to just enjoy stuff and not get too bogged down by the details, which is, I mean, I'm bogging myself down with details right now, trying to sculpt all these details. Thanks, very supportive. Yeah, what a world we live in right now. We can talk about our feelings. Remember when that was taboo? People just didn't care about feelings, man. It was either, you know, keep moving along or just fall down by the wayside. So I guess I'm lucky to have been born in this era, because I definitely would not have made it in the medieval times. First of all, I can't see very far. But then again, if it was medieval times, you would just die just by getting a splinter, you know, like, we have a lot to be thankful for living in this day and age, even though things are still bad here and there, but they're getting better slowly. Okay, I think that's getting somewhere that I'm enjoying. And off screen, what I'm doing is I'm just dipping, like every time I'm just cleaning the tip in this biodegradable sponge. At least that's what they say it is. Or not biodegradable, but it's made from like plant or cellulose. I don't know. Okay, time to refine the detail. Ooh, that's still soft. Okay, that went a little too deep. Yeah, I apologize to anyone who's been trying to reach out to me, like over social media or just anywhere. I'm not very active on Instagram anymore. I just I don't like to have to look at stuff on my, like, constantly on my person. So like, I tend to like avoid the apps on the phone and stuff like that. And who uses Instagram on the computer, right? YouTube is probably my most used social media now. I'm just gonna focus on sculpting more. I don't want to go into too much of a stream of consciousness. It's really hard to tell if I'm making any sense sometimes. So I really want to just work on these details tonight. So that it's kind of like my test piece. So if this one's working, then the next pieces of my sculpt, I'm gonna try different patterns on them, keeping them still like very geometric, so like gritty, like a grid like pattern or anything. Hey, thanks. Yes, we will definitely catch up sometime. Shoot me an email. I think you still have my email. If not, it's just info@relix.works. Yeah, and that goes for everyone. If you have any questions, I might not get back to you that fast, but I will try to get back to you. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Good night. What a blast from the past. You know how like when you have like some kind of nostalgic moment and it just leads to like a whole bunch of other nostalgic moments? Because they're just like all linked to that time frame. It's funny how the mind and memories work. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more just so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure this is actually the direction I want. I don't want to keep flip-flopping between directions. I just want to pick one. And it's not gonna be perfect. You know, it's kind of my first time doing this intricate of a pattern. On this big of a piece, which isn't that big, but for me it is because I usually work on smaller sculpts. Oh, this is cool. I didn't know you could do this. So they're... Gosh, I hope this is the direction I want. So I originally made them like more rectangular, but if you keep squishing on them, they kind of turn more circular. Now do I want that? Not really, but it's kind of cool to know I can do that in the future. Instead of trying to make them like perfect circles from the get-go. Because it's easier to make a square than a circle in wax, right? Because most tools are not like you could just stab into it and you get a line. With a circle you have to like kind of go like that and curve it, which is harder to control. Cool. But I want rectangles for this section, so do I? Yeah, I do. I'm making a lot of progress now. I know it's been kind of slow. It's just that's just how it is sometimes. You're trying to decide what direction you want to take a sculpt. It's like, it's not like we're dead, it just takes me a while to come up with stuff. But I really wanted to like take the time to figure it out. Because I didn't want to like do everything half-heartedly, thinking it's gonna turn out okay, and then later I look at it, I'm like, I don't like this, I don't have to go back and undo everything I did. Which is not the worst thing, because you know, it's experience, but it'd be a little bit of a pain. And not about that. Yeah, I'm trying to have stress-free sculpting. So I'd rather just take my time, look at it, figure out what I want, then go get it. And I think I got it this time. Like this is what I wanted. I wanted this kind of geometric looking carved rock pattern. And then something that looks like a gemstone fits there. I don't we'll see. That's all I'm gonna do right there. I'm gonna go back and refine some more later. But I want to keep working on the rest of them. I mean, or just the rest of yeah, the rest of these things. Gotta make sure to stretch every now and then. I might do the same thing up here to really emphasize this pattern. Or should I keep it like... trying to think compared to the other pieces of the sculpt. How would that look if it was like that all over? Because I'm thinking maybe I should just do this everywhere. You know, keep it simple. Hey, welcome back. It does look like a castle tower, doesn't it? Oh. What if these were like chess pieces? Oh, that's funny. yeah, I wanted to do a more geometric rocky pattern. That looks kind of like a carved rock texture. Like somebody went at it with a chisel. Technically I did. I used this chisel. I'm gonna refine it some more, but I just wanted to test out the idea first. Oh, that's what you're talking about, the crown. Well, these triangular shapes were supposed to be like a fur, like a geometric representation of fur, but it does look like a crown, doesn't it? Which is kind of cool, like King Kong, right? Like the King Kong, because it's supposed to be like a monkey arm, which I know it just looks like an arm, but to me, I was like monkey arm or gorilla arm. But I was thinking maybe I could put like a little slot for like a gemstone on each of these limbs, so it looks like they're powered up by something, or you have to like, I don't know, to defeat it, you have to like destroy the gemstone in each limb, basically. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, you know, I think I'm gonna continue this pattern here to really emphasize it so that each of them looks like they have like their own pattern growing out of it. Yeah, let's do that. I do like those tiny gemstones. I don't know why. Probably watched too much, I don't know, Indiana Jones or something. I don't know, my favorite movies are like adventure / sci-fi / like stuff with like a legend in it, like there's just some kind of treasure, or like, because to me it's like, it's really easy to visualize what the goal is that these people are going after. Not that, you know, things need to be easy to visualize. Metaphors are cool. But I just find it a lot less confusing when I know what's actually they're actually fighting about, instead of, you know, something more abstract like, oh, they're fighting for the attention of the parents, or I don't know. Or maybe I'm just too materialistic. But as Tommy Haverford from Parks and Rec said, he loves things because things are forever. Yeah, I kind of like that this is extending into the, like it's growing out. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is what I wanted. And this also makes it's kind of cheating because this doesn't have to be like an exact before, like I was trying to make them all kind of similar in diameter, and it was really hard. As you see, they're not perfect. If I do this, kind of hides the fact that they're all irregular shaped, because they're supposed to be irregular now. Even in a sculpt that's supposed to be geometrically accurate or concise, I don't know, it's geometric theme, you can still cheat like this. Scoop off some of that excess. Sorry you had to work so late on a Friday night. Hope you're alright. And thank you for catching the stream live. I'm gonna try to do more regular hours going forward. But Friday night is a good time for me. So if I could just do something similar on like Monday nights or Tuesday nights, I think that would be better for you folks. After all, I have more fun too when there's people around to interact with. So I wanna be where you guys are at, you know? Thanks. Make sure you get yourself to bed properly tonight. Don't fall asleep to my stream. You know, make sure you tuck yourself in, and it's getting colder now. It's, you know, it's fall. I used to fall asleep at my desk or in like weird positions and then wake up with like the worst crick in my neck or some cramp in my shoulder the whole day. That is not a good... Wait. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing I really need good sleep. Like, I just can't function. I'm not the type of person who can just drink coffee. I don't really drink coffee. Nor do I really want to, just to get a caffeine hit. I need good sleep. Otherwise, I'm just not... I can't adult. Yeah. Do I want to do like that to make it even more exaggerated? I think I do want to do that. Okay, we're gonna build up. Oh, I might need to use the other one for this. We'll see. Maybe I don't need it. So tonight I'm using a technique to build up the detail. It's a very time-consuming technique, but it's kind of fun. Basically, all you do is you dip the wax pen into like a block of wax, which I have here. I'm not going to show the whole thing because oh god. Okay, so I'm sorry if anyone has tryptophobia. But yeah, you dip it in there. You get like a little blob at the end of your tip, and then you can kind of draw with it, or like, I don't know what a good term for this is, like tattooing. You know how, like people tattoo, they like kind of stitch it into the skin. Well, you're kind of doing that. You're kind of like stitching the wax into the surface. Ah, yes. I forgot about that feature. I've just been like sort of scheduling a stream a day in advance when people, you know, see that it's like in their subscription feed, like, hey, this is gonna be live in a couple hours, but it's probably not a good way to let people know. I should actually put a post out, so I will try to do that, because I think that would be better for everyone. And also to do a poll, like you said. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's not that big of a deal. It's like not really a technique. It's just like you're just heating up wax and putting it on the surface, but doing it with this kind of tip, kind of like stitching it in. Make sure that it's really like in place instead of just dripping it like onto the piece. It'll just fall off. You're really like digging it into the surface. Like if I just drip that, watch. Come on, drip. Okay, I think I need a bigger glob. Get off. Okay, anyway. But yeah, that's not really that secure. It's just on the surface. So it'll just like fall off once it cools down. So stitching it in really makes sure that it's bonded with the surface. And because wax cools down very fast, you kind of need to do this with a heated tool. Like if I wanted to actually put these details on the surface, I'd either have to start from like a bigger block and then chisel my way through, which is kind of rough to do, even though I do like subtractive sculpting. But with small details like this, you probably will end up messing them up. It's better to build up the wax in layers like this and then go in and refine them. And you can do that because the wax will still be kind of warm from working on it. You can just take a flat tool and just press it into place. So you'll see what I mean in a couple seconds when I finally build up this brick. I'm calling it a brick, I don't know what else to call it right now. It's just this texture. I'm gonna heat up this tip a little more. It's taking a little too long. While I wait for it to heat up. Grab a swig of water. Also thirsty. It's getting there. I think the extra heat is helping. Haha, thank you. Yeah. Right? I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the stuff that's coming out. Like, all the, like, the greatest, like, robotic toys and stuff with the aid of, you know, computers and CAD and 3D modeling and 3D printing. Like, you get this really cool, exact, mechanical looking pieces, you know, which is awesome. But I kind of love like the look of the old retro robotic stuff that, like, you know what I'm talking about, like those old like Power Ranger or like Super Sentai shows when they have like the people in the suits and you can tell they're just like the suits are not perfect, like things are like oversized or too blocky, they're not very like slim, they look super clunky, but it just had this really cool aesthetic to it that just made it like really fun. Like for the longest time I didn't know, like, because I used to draw a lot and I still draw every now and then, but like before I sculpted I drew, so that probably helped me transition into sculpting. And I'm sure that could also work vice versa. If you're really good at sculpting you could probably draw well too. But I could not figure out how to draw hands or just like arms in general. When I started thinking about the arms and the hands being like more robotic, I would draw them like a little bit more blocky looking. For some reason they looked better than the ones that I tried to draw more realistic. Like it just had a little bit more character to it, I guess. And I don't know. Is that style over substance? Maybe. But it worked. Yeah. But even some of like the more recent designer toys are, because everything's a lot like just digital sculpts now, they will try to like mimic that old style, but you can still see like how like things aren't supposed to be symmetrical and perfect, right? So the best digital sculpts to me are the ones that aren't just like, if you just cut it down the middle it would be the exact same. They either have like a different type of pose, or they have like toys where each limb, and that's probably where I got the idea for this, is like very different from the other limb. I'm trying to think of an example, but I honestly haven't like looked at designer toys in a while. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of press those details into shape. So I'm just taking this like flat tool, and because the wax is still warm, I'm just gonna like wiggle it into like the shape I want it. Wiggle. Yeah. use a little finger action. Just press it in. Yeah. So you see what I just did there? I just made this like extra block, and I'm just gonna go around and keep doing that now. Oof, it's very rough, but that's okay. That's what happens in the beginning. Just go in and refine some of these edges. I'm not trying to refine too much at a time, because I may just hit them with the hot wax tool and lose that detail anyway. But this helps me gauge like if I'm in the right direction. Because sometimes you think like, oh, I'll just keep it rough and then it's gonna look much nicer once I refine it. And then when you refine it, you're like, oh crap, like this actually doesn't look like what I want. And then it's by then you've done like a whole week's worth of work. So I kind of like to refine as I go, just a little bit, so I can see what's happening. Kind of like a preview of what's to come, you know? I'm sure everyone can understand that. You gotta taste test the soup as you go along, and not just taste it at the end and hope it's gonna be alright. Yeah, this is still kind of veering towards the direction I want. Pluto figure. I'm gonna have to look that up. But Super 7 makes really good sculpts. And I think they're still... Oh, they might be digital, but I swear I thought some of them were like done traditionally as well. And again, I have nothing against digital sculpts. They save so much time and effort. But I feel like people who've never actually sculpted anything by hand and then just are like amazing digital sculptors are kind of robbed of that initial experience of working with like clay and wax and really like seeing like in real life what these materials behave like, instead they just see pixels on the screen. But you know, not everyone really cares about those details and intricacies. Things aren't... Old way isn't always the best way, you know what I mean? But it is good for some things versus others. And vice versa. And that's something I really struggled with asking myself, like, is this even worth it? Like, is it worth it to work with wax in 2022? Or even back then when I was thinking like 2020, like when I was trying to come up with the formula, I was like, is it even, like, does anyone even care about this stuff? But for me personally, it's just like, I felt the most comfortable using wax because that's what I was taught to use. That's where I came up with, you know, a lot of my original ideas. And yeah, it's a slower material. It takes time. You can't just undo things easily, like with the click of a button. But the more like I tried to learn digital sculpting and seeing like all the plugins and all the tools and techniques and all the different things you could do, I just got kind of like overloaded, like sensory overload. And I was like, this is too much. Like, I want to just start sculpting, but I have to first like make sure my file is set up right. I have enough like vertices and like, you know, I got this non-destructible workflow method. I gotta, like, I was just getting too stressed out by all these things I had to learn. Some people will enjoy that, you know, don't get me wrong. And I did enjoy some of it, but it just took too long for me to just get started. I'd rather just start sculpting and make a bunch of mistakes that I'm gonna have to undo versus trying to spend like a whole hour trying to set up my file and making sure like I'm not gonna screw myself over later when I try to export the model because I didn't use like the right number of vertices or didn't make sure that, you know, it was like the right scale, or that it was in orthographic mode versus perspective mode, you know, all these like things that you have to think about. So I'm like, oh, I'm astonished when people create things in digital, like, because yeah, it may look easy, but it takes a lot of like learning to get to that point to make it look that flawless. I'm just impatient. I just want to get to sculpting. So for me, traditional materials are great for when I do these kind of like more organic slash dynamic sculpts. With the spinning tops, of course, I love 3D modeling them way more than I do sculpting them in real life, because making something perfectly symmetrically round is like one of the hardest things ever, even with a tool like a lathe or like a wheel that you can spin it on. Ooh, that's cool. I actually... Oh, it was a 3D scan of the figures. They were so... Wow, that is really interesting. You know all these like cool stories, like the thing about the He-Man. That's what I love about toys, because at the end of the day, yeah, they're toys, but somebody had to figure out how to make this stuff, right? Like they had to actually manufacture these things, and that building and designing anything is a huge undertaking, you know, no matter how simple the project may be, even if there's no electronics involved or it's like just a one-off thing. It's just, it's so, like, so many things can go wrong. And the cool thing about the toy industry is like it's filled with creative people, and so there's all these interesting stories of how things get made. Same with movies and stuff. So I'm always like, I always love hearing about all the crazy things that had to happen to make creative projects come to fruition. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna keep doing this now. It's like blocky texture all around, and that'll help sort of complete that section of the sculpt, and then I can start working on the hand more. I'm gonna bump up the heat again, so I think it is helping. 250 is good. Oh, this has just been in frame the whole time. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? Just get that out of the way. It is true. For a while I was really into like puzzles. Here, I'll do a little show and tell. This is a cool... Oh, it's crazy on my green screen. This is a cool little puzzle I picked up. I think it's from a company called Hanayama. So it's a Japanese company, but I think a lot of the designs come from this like original British collection. And these are like kinetic puzzles. So you can see the goal of this one is to actually get it out, get this middle piece out, and you're trying to squeeze through all these weird looking holes. And you think, oh, this is not gonna... Like, how the heck would this big thing actually get out? But all you gotta do is find the right shape that if you can rotate this thing as it comes out, it will actually come out. So I don't think that one's the one. I think this one is. But this is different than like an action figure, right? Or like a regular kind of a more general purpose toy concept. Oh, maybe it's this one. Oh. But to me, this is pretty fun. I've done this before, but I always forget which one is the right one. Oh god, just fumbling now. What's going on? I think it's this way. Oh. Take. Rotating. Are you gonna come out? It's the wrong hole. That might be the wrong hole. Oh, wait. I think I know. Yeah. Yeah, this is not a jigsaw puzzle, but I definitely would prefer doing this over a jigsaw puzzle. mean, you pick your poison. And this is like a level 1 puzzle. I think they go up to like level 6, so see how long it's taking me to do this. You can imagine a level 6 puzzle. But I just love that these things are like made out of metal. They're like really well made. It wasn't too expensive. I think this was like maybe... Oh! Wait. Yes! Got it. Done. Donezo. Yes. Longest... I incorrectly described the solution to the cage puzzle. Longest piece need to be moved out of the largest hole first, then get the rest of it out. Yeah. So... it's really hard to tell like which of these holes is the right one at first, but one of them is definitely has a much larger like open area than the others, because the others just have too many like little teeth sticking out that are just going to get in the way. So I think it was, oh shoot, now I've forgotten again. Was it this one? If it was this one, that'd be hilarious because it's right here on the edge. It is this one, isn't it? Oh my god, what a cheat code. Done. Now can I get it out? Sorry if I'm like spoiling this for anyone who has this exact puzzle at home and was like, oh, you ruined the surprise. But I doubt that that's gonna happen. What the? It went in so easy. Can't get it out now. Wait. You'd think someone who's good with his hands would be able to figure this out really quick. There we go. Okay, now I know for sure it's this one. Wow, so they really just put it right here. It's kind of funny. It's like they're taunting you. This is the one, we even marked it for you. I have another one that took me forever, like 3 days to figure out, and it was so I felt so stupid after I figured it out. I'll show that one in the next time. Get back to sculpting. Okay, we're gonna build it up again. Oh yeah, what are they doing having it on such a low heat? This is way better. Yeah, anyway, going back to our previous topic, I feel like most of the toys I see coming out now are just like rehashes of what's already selling well, which is, you know, that's business. It's smart. But I haven't seen anything like a new idea in a while. You know, and maybe that's just because the technology has advanced so much that like everyone grows up with a computer now. Or a smart device. So everything has to like have some integrated digital feature to it. Otherwise it's just not relevant. But then again, I think with the advent of things like Etsy and YouTube and just a shift in consumer culture where we really care about where our things are coming from, and the whole in DIY / maker movement / you know, handcrafted movement, or like indie toy designer, you know, stuff like that. People are kind of realizing the importance again of supporting like small artists and people, you know, local creators, not just buying from the big box companies. Okay, that one went a little too far. So I'm gonna fix that. People just want stuff that is kind of special. that has like a story to it and isn't just like, oh, this is just the, you know, the new Lego set of, although I love Legos, but you know what I mean. Like, this is just another franchise. Oh, you know, I'm really enjoying the way this is turning out tonight. I was really confused about how to approach this guy for a while. The answer was just so simple. Just add wax slowly and carefully, and then go back and make it straight. Yeah, and there's definitely been rehashes of those kind of toys from other companies or other people or even the original companies, but it's hard to replicate because it already exists. So it's like it's either just a reboot, you know, or whatever, but like back then it felt new and fresh. Like, oh man, this new thing just came out, I gotta see it. Like, remember when like Saturday morning cartoons were a thing? I don't think that's really a thing anymore. I can't even think of like a good Saturday morning cartoon now. Although recently, and I'm kind of late, I've been really getting into Bob's Burgers. That's a really good animated show. I know it started airing a long time ago. I just never got into it. But every episode has me in like what is going on? Like, I'm actually like intrigued. But yeah, I wish kind of stuff, because the other thing is there is no real need to make those kind of toys and stuff, because when's the last time you've even seen a toy store? Like an actual toy store? You know, like kids growing up today don't, I sound so old saying this, kids growing up today don't know how it was like to go into a Toys R Us, you know, and see all the bikes and the Lego sets. It's like video games are really the future now, or augmented reality or virtual reality or you know, whatever. But there's a whole board game movement, you know. It's been going around, and I think that's kind of similar in that it's like a tactile old world kind of approach. I just learned what shuffleboard is recently, and that looks like a giant board game on the you know, on the ground or on the table, wherever you play that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, when I think of like those kind of old school toys, that's like so old. It's so distant. It's just not relevant. So I think what I'm trying to go for when I try to make stuff now is either I am trying to recapture that feeling of like those old, like, because like those toys, they had to make them cheap, so like they couldn't introduce a ton of complicated electronics or like, you know, technology into them. They just were like this thing with like a simple lever action, like a karate chop Buzz Lightyear or something. I don't know. But not even that, but like cool collectible things. Like, remember when I'm sure Beanie Babies are still a thing, but man, growing up, because my sister and me, we both just really went nuts on Beanie Babies, which aren't even really toys, they're just stuffed animal creature things. But it was like so fun. collecting. That one was so fun. I think that's what it is. And that's why I like to make collections when I make a toy. Like this guy's basically gonna have a whole collection of different limbs that can attach to him, and every time I create a new one, I'll either, oh gosh, that was way too soft. I just like totally squished it. No biggie. I just didn't expect that to happen so soon. I thought it'd cool down already. That's what I get for having hot hands. Oh yeah, sorry to answer your question earlier. The heat from my hands isn't enough to melt the detail, like that. But if it is soft, like you saw just then, it will, you know, do that, of course. Yeah, that's true. They are still popular. But I haven't really... I guess I'm just not in the loop anymore. I just don't know what kids are collecting. But like, I will say that every time I went to a toy convention and I was like, you know, selling my tops or whatever, I always got, even if it wasn't a busy day, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I remember like there were days where it didn't seem like anyone was really buying anything. But because I had this sort of like playable, entertaining toy thing, and everyone around me had like more sculptural based stuff, like more like a like they were very nicely, beautifully, like really unique, cool stuff, but it technically wasn't a toy. It was more like a designer toy, you know, like it's a sculpt, and maybe it had like one or two joints, but it wasn't something you actually played with. It's something you would put on a shelf and admire, and if you tried to play with it too much, it would probably, you'd wreck some of the paint off, or you know, whatever. But I went the whole like actual toy route, so every time I went to one of these conventions, I always got like a bunch of people at my booth who were really interested in like just messing around, like, and they would like play with my toys in ways that I hadn't even thought that you could do with them. And yeah, so I was very popular with kids, I will say, because I put my stuff at like a low level so the kids could see it, and then you know, they bring their parents over like, hey mom, dad, check this out. So if there's anything I learned, it's how to be a good businessman to kids. Just get them a sample, let them play with the toy, see if they like it, and then it worked, and then the adults wanted to play with them. So that's my whole concept. That's something I've always tried to do. Oh, excuse me. Getting there. But it's so much more. It's fun, but it's also very challenging. I was gonna say it's very difficult, but it's not that difficult. It's just challenging. Like, there's a difference between something that's really hard to do, because sometimes you don't enjoy it. But if it's challenging, it's like a puzzle. And for me, it's like a puzzle to figure out, what can I make this thing do? Like, how can I get it to garner interest? Like, get someone to actually interact with this figure, make it worth their while. I don't want to just put something out that's gonna just be like, oh, this is my whole ego. No, like this is my thing, because all I do are like this specific type of character, and just in different poses, you know. No, I want to make something that they are genuinely gonna find interesting, and be like, oh, I want to show this to like my friend, or you know, my family, and they'll get a kick out of this, you know, like, and then it'll just be like a nice memory. Like, I want my stuff to actually leave like a positive memory, and not just feel like a hole in their wallet. Oh, that's probably why I'm not a good businessman. I care more about the craft than I do about the profits. As you can see, Lapis Lazuli, I've totally given up on the whole stoic, silent streamer concept. I said I wasn't going to be talking too much or being too preachy, but I always find myself, I don't know, it just helps me focus when I'm like talking out my thoughts, even if they're not really related to what I'm doing. Like, I always have something in the background. Like, I can't just not have nothing in the background. Like, I'll put a movie on or a show on, some documentary about the benefits of fungi. Because when I start sculpting, it becomes kind of automatic, and it feels like, oh, like my brain is just on autopilot, which can sometimes be a good thing, but for me, it's like I need something to think about besides what I'm focusing on doing in front of me. Yeah, it's not something I've seen a lot of either. And that's because that's the designer toy movement, right? It's not about like something that has to have a physical function. It's a designer toy because it's about like a design or a character and their story. And I really love that stuff. But to me, I grew up like making construction paper robot toys and just building weird things out of cardboard. Like, I can't not make something fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my whole thing. I gotta find a way to make it fun. But I love all the cool characters and stories that people come up with and then bring them to life through designer toys. Because that's something that never like really existed, right? Because back then it was only like big franchises that had that availability. But now anyone can come up with a cool character design or a story, and then, you know, either figure out how to sculpt, resin cast, model, whatever, or get someone to do that, and they can like make this thing on their own that a company would never have the guts to make themselves, right? Like, I'm talking about like stuff like that's like really like, not to put on a pedestal, but like I remember seeing like Ron English's work for the first time and seeing all this funny pop culture references to like Fat McDonald's guy and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, this is really cool that like someone could make this, like put a statement out there, because McDonald's would never pay someone to make this thing, you know. Or Jason Freeney, I think that's his name, Jason Freeney's anatomical, like, now you see them everywhere, right? It's like split figure where it's like half the body, half is just like an anatomy model from science class. But Jason Freeney was like kind of the pioneer of that, I think, if that's what I remember. But of course, the real pioneer would probably be Michael Lau. He was the original designer toy artist, I think, back in Hong Kong, like in the 90s, with the Gardener series. Like, that stuff is really inspiring to me, that people create these whole stories and characters and then bring them to life through toys that people could then take home. To me, that's the cool thing about designer toys. But for me, I actually want to make like something you can interact with. But wow, this is turning really crazy, isn't it? But I kind of like it. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's what I want. You see, I spend so much time trying to figure out toy ideas that I never really practiced a ton of sculpting skills, because I was always more focused on what can it do. And so this piece is sort of gonna be my magnum opus, or whatever you call it. It's gonna combine everything I've learned with like toy creation and playability and interaction with detail and aesthetic quality. This will probably be like the best piece I've ever made. once I finish it. And I hope I can get it 3D scanned. Like, I'm just like really worried that they're not gonna be able to get a good capture because like the color is gray, so maybe that's hard to photograph. But I don't mind if they spray paint this thing whatever color they need to. Anyway, I'm just gonna focus on making it. And if I don't get a 3D scan, that's fine. I'll just have this piece. Maybe I'll make a mold. Yeah, big pog. Now imagine that on all the other limbs. And with like different patterns. Like I'm thinking like more diamond shape for the snake, right? Like a snake diamond scale pattern. The bird, of course, is gonna have like a feathery looking pattern, which might still kind of look diamondy, but I'm gonna try to make it look more like lines, like hairline, with the feathers going out. And I have this other idea for the body. Well, I know for the leg, I'm gonna make it more skeletal looking, right? Because it's kind of bony. So I kind of want to make like all these like raised ridges that look like ribs. Or like, have you ever seen like a chicken leg? Chicken foot, you could see like all the lines on it. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Let's finish one thing first. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I'm probably gonna finish this part. And what time is it? 11:45. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna finish going around here. Then maybe try to figure out how I'm gonna get from here to here. And once I figure that out, I'm probably not gonna finish this tonight. I'll probably end the stream there, but that'll be a good stopping point so that the next time I start, I kind of know like what I'm gonna do and I just get straight into it versus taking a while to warm up. I think I like wax so much because it's kind of a mirror of my own personality. I'm pretty flexible in certain situations. I gotta get a little warm up first. But most of the time when I'm at room temperature, I'm just like wax. I'm just like very hard and brittle. So like a lot of situations put me in uncomfortable spot. Even if they're just like normal situations, I get a little flustered. But once I get a little warmed up, I'm smooth as butter. That's right. Welcome to wax therapy. Sculpting wax to model your own life with better behavior. I don't know what I'm saying. My self-help book will be out now at a low cost of $30 for 10 booklets. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm running on that weird midnight fuel energy now. But I think the reason I say such weird stuff is because I've always been thinking about toys and making them more interactive and playable. So I'm constantly saying weird stuff or being weird because of that. That's just who I am. I hope, well, my goal is to finish this piece by the end of the year. Like everything, like I want to make like a video about it. I want to have like the 3D model and everything. Like I want to show that whole start to finish process. I'll use clips of me sculpting it from these streams to show the process of sculpting it, and then I'll do like a video showing how I got it scanned or how I scanned it myself. The process of turning that scan into a digital model that I could then share with people. And then this will just be an ongoing project where I just keep sculpting new limbs to add to it. Oh, it'd be so cool if I had like another whole body worth of limbs. And maybe that's where... Wait, what? Oh god. Just now? Well, that's isn't that like Greek yogurt? That's terrible. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's nasty. I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't have that problem because I just don't drink milk. But yeah, I would definitely not do that again. There's a whole toy concept waiting right there. Curdled milk. There's gotta be something we can do with that. It's a future toy idea. I don't know what it is, but it's gonna come to me late at night or in the shower or when I'm dropping my kids off at the pool, if you know what I mean. I think most of my ideas come at times like that. Yeah, that's exactly how cheese was discovered. Oh, what happened to our milk? Wait, it tastes amazing. Wait, but sometimes it doesn't taste amazing. What's the difference? Okay, like that. Oh, I'm almost there. 2 more, I think. Yeah. So yeah, this is a very time-consuming process, but I have all the time in the world to do this on a Friday night. It's fun. So I'm a slow worker, but working slowly kind of helps me really focus on what I'm doing. Yeah. I want to incorporate something like that. And I think, I don't know if anyone's ever seen my old, like, how to make a toy live stream, like my original live stream, the first one I ever did, where I just took like a bunch of weird ideas or concepts and then try to combine them, and that's how I made the Clover dinosaur figure. That was really fun because I didn't have to do any creative work really, besides just generating those categories and then printing them out, cutting them into paper strips, and then putting them in a vending machine. But I would like to employ a similar concept going forward, which will make it a lot more fun, because I'm just gonna have to like wing everything, and it'll really be random. Thank you for that suggestion. The limb streams. Yeah, we gotta come up with a cool name for these. Limb streams is kind of cool, but people might think I'm talking about body parts, and I don't really want to get demonetized, even though I'm not monetized. I mean, I don't want to get, what's the word? Suspended from YouTube. What's another good name? Well, my original idea for this line was like Chimera, because it's just super straightforward. I know that's boring, but that was just my first idea. Something along those lines, because it is a chimera, right? It's like a bunch of different creatures together in one. But I would like to pick a name that isn't so obvious. Appendage creation. Now that just sounds like I'm a mad scientist. Come on, it's 2022, social media, we gotta think of clickbaity. No, we don't. No, don't do that. It's funny because I think people use the term sculpting also for like exercise, like people who build up their bodies, like weightlifters, or what do you call those people? I don't know, just people who train their bodies. So body sculpting I might attract a different crowd of exercise enthusiasts. Amalgam balancer. Ooh, how'd you come up with that one? Although balance is a good idea because, oh, excuse me, it's a figure that balances on each limb. We'll think of something. It'll come to us. Oh, whoa, I did not know any of that. So maybe Chimera is a good name. Chimera creation. I don't know. Amalgams are more chaotic creature mixes. Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't know that amalgam was like used like that. I really like that now. And it has similar letters as the word animal. Animalgam? Like Animorphs. Anyone remembers Animorphs? Animalgams. That sounds like a... You know those puzzle-like things that people used to make, like, tangrams or something? Like you could, there's like a little booklet or whatever, instructions. If you put certain shapes in a certain way, you can make like different looking creatures. Was that tangrams? I like amalgams, like animal amalgams, animalgams. Oh, that's a mouthful. I don't know if that's good. I'm gonna have to read up more on that. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, almost there. It's amazing. Back when I didn't have this green screen, there's a green screen X mark on my tabletop here that keeps me in the right frame always. But before I had that, I just constantly not in frame. And now it's made it so much easier to just remind myself, oh hey, yeah, don't sculpt all the way down here because no one's gonna see what's happening. Just trying to make life easier. So, should I get closer to the camera? I don't know if you guys can see all this good stuff that's happening. Sometimes when it's too close, it looks too shaky. I don't want that either. Oh, interesting. It looks like a gear from the top. Very imperfect gear, but a gear nonetheless. Amalgams. That's not bad. Amalgams. Animograms. No, animagams? Oh gosh, I'm terrible at these. Anagram. Oh, anagram is another word. Never mind. Animalgam. Animalgams. Animalgams. I'm just trying to say it as many times as I can to get it sound natural. Animalgams. Hi, welcome to tonight's sculpting stream where I'm gonna make another animalgam. That wasn't so bad. We're on to something. By we, I mean you, yeah, lapis lazuli. It's like lapis lazuli? I think it's a gemstone. There we go, thinking about gemstones again. How about, monster amalgams? No. Animalgams. That's not bad. It's weird, you know, because it's the first time I've heard it, so I don't know if it's good or not. But what? People had such crazy names for things. Sometimes they don't make any sense, they still work. So maybe don't overthink it. And it's fine. Just don't make it weird and it won't be weird. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's weird. No, you're being weird by saying it's weird. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I just gotta do this 5 more times. I mean, I'm not done with this one yet. You know what I mean? Getting there. I think I need to make... What's going on here? So it's like that, that. I see, I need that like there. Oh, it's fine. It doesn't have to be the same all the way through. Lapis lazuli 32. Ah, that's a good idea. Yeah, alliteration. Amalgam. Animal. What if it's called like a... I don't know, like a Chimera Scrambler. It's like a puzzle. It's a puzzle. I don't know. I gotta think of this. I gotta think about this. I want this to have a really good name, okay? You know, for the longest time, I kept calling my tops the rock, paper, scissors, spin tops, but like, I was wondering if there was a better name, because that's kind of a mouthful, but technically everyone knows rock, paper, scissors. Although, actually, I was surprised some people didn't know what rock, paper, scissors was. Like, sometimes I'd go to conventions and I'd be like, oh, it's a rock, paper, scissors top. I'm like, what's rock, paper, scissors? I'm like, how do you not know what rock, paper, scissors is? Like, how? It just, how? Like, where have you been living this, like, this last century? But, you know, that can happen. Anyway, I just want a name that isn't too crazy. Like, it's very direct what it is. I think simpler is usually better. When people have to think like, oh, what is this thing? Then it's like, it makes it harder for them to remember that thing later on. They're like, what was that thing called? But everyone knows what like Pizza Hut is, or, you know, Burger King, or, you know, things that have the thing that it is in the name. Toys R Us, come on. But then again, I called my wax mix Relix, which, I mean, it was a play on the word relic, and then adding like an X sound, because it's like relics made out of wax. Also, relics, like the plural, relic, relics. But that definitely took a while to come with that name. I did call them tumble tops, which also was actually a good idea. I think I liked that a lot, but the problem I saw was that there were toy companies that made spinning top things called tumble tops already. So after a while, I decided not to use that name anymore because I didn't want to get confused with them. Even though their toy was like not really popular anymore, at least not to my knowledge they were. I just didn't want to get in any trouble. But I think tumble tops is actually the best name for them because they tumble when they stop spinning. That adds like a chaotic element that you don't get with just regular rock paper scissors. So, you know what? Tumble tops, it is. Animalgams. Welcome to Animalgams, Season 2. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, you know what? I think I might call it there. And I'll just figure out how to get from here to there next time. Like how to bridge this detail and get it, start covering this area. I might have to change this from a triangular looking thing to more blocky, and I'm fine with doing that. That shouldn't take too much effort. I kind of want to continue that theme. If I start changing up the pattern, it might get too confusing. So maybe what I'll do is I will add a few like coming up, but not completely covering over the fingers, and then stop it right there. That'll look good enough. I think that's what I'll do. Kind of like if you've ever seen Full Metal Alchemist, you know how like they add those little details on like whenever Edward will like transmute something, and then you see it like come out of the ground and it has these little like rectangular flaky things on it that look like it was like growing out. I always thought that was a really cool texture. Oh, so I've done a lot of different jobs, mostly in like art fabrication because I went to school for art. But what I do now is I work for a company that assembles electronic components for research. Don't ask me how I got this job or how I found it. It was like a really weird turn of events. But basically, I spend most of my day soldering electronics together. And my background isn't in like soldering or electrical. But I'm actually now decided to go back to school part-time while I'm working full-time. And start learning more about electrical engineering and concepts like that so that I'm better equipped for my job, because I really like it and I think this field is actually something I could do long term, because I realized that for art I'd rather keep art more on the side, or like just something that's I don't have to worry about trying to make profits with it, because when I do that I get into a creative block, or I make decisions that like aren't really the decisions I want to make, but only because I'm making them because I like need money. And I hate doing that with my art, because I'm just very pure with my art. Like I just want it to be me. I don't want it to be like you know, laser focused on like profits and all that kind of stuff. Like I just want to create something because I want to create something, because that's how I always thought about it, and that's just what feels natural to me. So yeah, my day job is definitely different than what I do here, but it's not that much different, because I use a soldering iron, which is very similar to an electrically heated wax pen. If you think about it, wax is like solder. You melt it and then combine it with other components. So maybe that's why I'm good at my job, because of all my experience with wax sculpting. But yeah, other than that, I do some like other stuff with just fabricating parts, cutting plastic, or it's a cool job. It's a neat job. It's not glamorous, but I work with some good people, and that's kind of a luxury in this day and age, to work with like a team that you actually get along with, versus having to deal with like supervisors or colleagues that you just like want to just kill yourself working with, or dealing with customers or clients that, because I'm not really a people person. I can be when I want to, but it's just very difficult. Yeah, I will look at brick buildings. Thanks, Michael. Yeah. It does, but you know, honestly, if this thing ever takes off and I could do this full time, I would. But I don't want to force that to happen by putting out content like constantly and being like always in your face with like, oh hey, buy this, buy that, because you know that's how I make my bills. If you buy my affiliate link and things like that, like it's really hard to for me to put myself out there like that, which might be something I need to also get over with. You know, like that's not a bad thing. It's not a crime, right, to make money off of your art. Always got to remember that. It's just I think better when I don't have to think about the money, which isn't very realistic, I know, but that's just how my mind works. A bit childish, but hey, I make toys. Can you blame me for being kind of childish about stuff like that? Anyway, I'm having a really good time now that I figured out the kind of approach I'm gonna do with how I'm gonna put the detail going forward. So each limb will have its own type of detail, like geometric pattern. And I don't want to make it look too realistic. I want to make it look very geometric and blocky, and I like this. I'm gonna refine it some more in the next stream and go from there. Yeah, thanks for letting me talk your ears off tonight. Oh man. But yeah, I wanna do this more. Be more consistent with my streaming schedule. Just gotta figure out the homework stuff, you know. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.